You all know about culture shock, but what about reverse culture shock? When you come back to your home country after living abroad for a few months or years, and when you come home, you kind of feel like a stranger in your home country. Well, that's what I experienced when I came back to France after living abroad in the United States for about 5 years. And today I'm going to share with you my experience. So the first reverse culture shock I experienced when I came back to France was the language. So it sounds weird because French is my mother's tongue, it's what I speak, but because I was so used to speaking English for 5 years in the United States and I barely spoke French at that time, when I came back to France it was such a big culture shock. It was so weird because I came back and everything was in French, everyone spoke French, every movie was in French, and it's kind of what I experienced when I first came to the US where everything was in English. And it just like so weird to me. Well, my brain was so used to English for 5 years that when I came back to France it was really weird and I had to take time to get reused to it. And even now, it's been a year that I'm back in France and I mean I speak French like normally, there is no problem with that. But I'll put English words sometimes, like I still do that. And my friends make fun of me and they're like, oh, you're just trying to be cool. But I don't do it on purpose. Like sometimes I just have American words that just come back at me and like I can't find the French word for it. So another culture shock, which is really big and kind of like from both sides, was making reference to different things. You know, when you make a reference to a movie or to a certain culture or whatever, well, it's hard if you don't have the same reference or the same culture behind it. So I would make reference to like American culture, like making jokes about things I have seen or experienced in the US, and my French friends will really not understand what I would be talking about because they never went to the US. So even if I made like a reference to, I don't know, like an American holiday or an American inside joke, like they will not understand it. And vice versa, they will make jokes or reference to things I missed out because after like 5 years in the US, I missed out on a lot of French music, French TV show, French events that I didn't see, didn't experience myself. So my French friends will make reference to that and I will be like, what? And they're like, you don't know about that? And I'm like, no, I wasn't here, like I didn't even hear about it. So it was funny, but it was weird because we couldn't understand each other's jokes or references. Another thing will be family dinners. So family dinners are so different in France and the US. In the US, most family dinners I had, we basically had a buffet and people would just bring a bunch of different food and we can eat it outside and walk around and talk to different people. But in France, family dinners are around the table, you go to a restaurant or you go to someone's house, they cook, and that's it. And you stay around the table for hours talking. So that was another little bit culture shock. I had to get used to sitting at the table for hours and not walking around and trying completely different dishes that everyone brought. So another thing which is pretty specific to my life and my experience, but is the fact that I started going to the gym in the US. I never really went in France. I think I went like 3 times, but I forgot all about it. So I learned the weights and everything in the United States. So I knew on each machine how many pounds I would do. And I came back to France and now I go to the gym here in France. And every time I look at the pound section, because it's written in pounds and kilograms, I look at the pound section because for 5 years that's what I looked at, so I know my weight. But here everyone uses kilograms. So a funny story that I thought was hilarious is that one of my friends was like asking me like how much weight I was doing, and I told him in pounds without even thinking about it. I told him, oh, I do that. And he was like, are you sure? That sounds like a lot. Yeah, you're just kidding. I'm like, I was so serious. I was like, no, that's what I do. It's not much. And he's like, oh, it seems a lot for you, you know, like. And we realized like a few weeks later, because I looked at I was doing the same machine and I was like, that's not much. And I was like, oh, I was telling him the thing in pounds, not in kilograms. And pounds is almost like double kilograms. So I was like, that's why. And I told him and he was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So another reverse culture shock was going to a grocery store and then I get all my food and then I realized I don't have bags. Because in France now it's banned, you can't have plastic bags in grocery stores. So you have to buy your own like actual huge like big plastic bags, or you have to bring your own stuff. Usually people bring their own bags so they can put the food in. You don't have plastic, like little plastic bags anymore. But in the US you do, like everything is bagged for you in plastic bags. So I never even thought about it. Like I went to the grocery store and didn't think about it at all because I was so used in the United States they will put everything in plastic bags. And then I was like, oh, I don't have anything to like bring my food home. So then I bought a bag to bring it home. And it's really good, don't get me wrong, it's really good that they ban all the plastic bags. but it's just, it was a reverse culture shock because I completely forgot that in France, you know, you don't do that anymore. So I just remember being like, looking at all my food, looking at the girl and be like, oh yeah, you're not bagging it. Shoot, like I forgot. So another big reverse culture shock I experienced when I came back to France was to figure out that stores close really early, around 9 p.m. and are closed on Sundays, or at least close really even earlier on Sundays. And then restaurants are not open all day like in the United States, but usually, you know, they're open for lunch and for dinner, but between that, they're closed for like a few hours because people don't eat around that time. And it's so weird because in the United States, you know, I will like 4 p.m. will be like, 4 p.m. well, we're hungry, let's go eat. You can't do that in France. Like restaurants will be closed, but in the US they're open. So that was a big reverse culture shock because I got used to the fact that in the US we will not pay attention to what time it was, and if we're hungry or if, you know, we'll be like, oh, let's go eat or let's go grab something at the store. It's 3 a.m. but we want to go to Walmart, let's go. Well, you can't do that in France, you know. Stores are not open, restaurants closed, so it's really weird. It was really weird to get used to that lifestyle again, I guess. It's now the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. À la prochaine!